Welcome back. I'm gonna start working on some more stuff here. Got all the insulation done. Everything's looking good. I'm going to go back to work on the floor. I've taken this floor off like 10 times. I'll take it off, work on stuff, put it back on. We'll go use the trailer for a weekend to camp. And then I'll take the floor back off and work on some more stuff. But I'm hoping I can kind of get the floor down, maybe permanently. We'll see. I doubt it, but maybe I won't have to pull it off again. So I'm going to grab a few things and get to work. If your tape measure doesn't look like this, you're not working hard enough. Alright, change of plans. This isn't going to work very well in here, so we're going to take it over to where I've got a flat spot so I can get this spread out and make measurements and cut so I can drop these pieces down in this lower storage section here. So I'm going to drag it over here, and I think that'll work a little better. I'm back at it today, and went down to Lowe's, got some more materials, and I'm gonna work on the ceiling in here today. Went and got some stuff for that. First thing, I've got to go and kind of, on some of these, I got to scrape some of the spray foam that's on the metal off, because I got to put my wood directly on this. And I've got a few spots that you can see the foam isn't quite even everywhere, of course. And for the most part, it's good, but I've got a few spots that I just got to trim a little bit off so that when I put my wood up here, it'll sit on it flush and everything. So I'm going to do some scraping, do that, and then start putting it up. So I've got some wood here. So this is what I ended up getting. I normally don't work with wood like this. I usually prefer to get like rough sawn cedar or pine from a local mill, but I'm doing something a little different than a lot of my projects, so this is what I decided to go with. This kind of gray, rough looking wood, and it was fairly inexpensive. It's still cheaper to get stuff from a local mill or something, because I can get the second grade rough sawn cedar. I've built some stuff out of that before, but this is what I'm going with on this. We'll see how it works, and I think I'm gonna use liquid nails. Use it. This is what I used on the floor, gluing down the base on it and everything. So I'm going to use this to put this up. I was going to screw it, and I've been going back and forth for a couple reasons. One of those is, so there's pros and cons to both screwing and gluing. The gluing is going to be a little more permanent and harder to pull a piece off if I need to replace it or work on a light or anything like that. In theory, I shouldn't, but you never know when you get a random leak or something. So the screwing, I take screws out and remove any board that I want. The gluing is a little bit easier to a certain extent, and it's more permanent. But the main thing why I'm going to glue is these supports right here. These are the roof supports. So if I glue these boards, I'm going to have to put screws all across here. And there's already holes in this, but if I put screws in it, I'm going to have a ton more holes across here, which is going to reduce the strength of my roof. Might not be a big deal, but I'm going to glue it and maintain what strength I have, because I've got plans for the roof and I want to make sure it's strong enough later on for that. So I'm going to try to glue it and we'll see how it works, and we'll go from there. I'll also be, while I'm doing the roof, I'll have to prep and get ready for these lights, and hopefully I've got a hole saw bit that I can just drill these and pop them in there pretty easy. But I've got the wires, that's what all these wires hanging, that's a light, there's a light up there. So that's what those are for. So I'll be doing those while I go, more than likely, or at some point. I just got to prepare for them and have the holes for my wires on that. So I'm gonna get started. This stuff's kind of neat. It's got slightly different shades, different lengths. So I think they mainly make this for, like, you can do it on roofs or walls and stuff. It's kind of a popular thing for doing on walls. And you can just piece together different pieces and make stuff however you want. I've been looking at these cross pieces and how this wood's going to form on here, and I think I've decided to rip down some plywood to give me a little bit more, just to bring this down just a hair, and that's primarily to help with the transition when I get to this side. If I bring that down just a little bit, it'll help my transition on the edges to just go a little bit smoother. So I'm going to rip down some plywood and add a strip onto each one of these, and then I'll put my boards on there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. $45 and a half. 1, 2, 3. guys for watching. This is all we got this week. Stay tuned and keep an eye out for our video next week where we put the wood planks on the ceiling. That'll be a little bit more interesting. You can kind of see in this video just how time consuming this entire project can be, and how building in a place like this, it's just kind of difficult with the corners and the edges and the way everything lays out. Nothing's square, nothing's squared off, or so lots of odd angles and weird things to work with. So it makes it fun and exciting, and situations are constantly changing from moment to the next on how I want to do things. So, but it's fun and we're getting there. So stay tuned for next week, and like, subscribe, and feel free to share.